But I don't think they realized James Harden was as good as he is now, right?
That's correct. To be fair, I don't know if anyone did. We put all our assets into trade for him, but no one could anticipate he'd be the best player in the world. Like,
why did you put all your assets? Why him?
So both the eye test, because he looks amazing. I think anyone watched him, but if you looked at data at the time, once he had the ball in his hands, and it's still true to this day, and I get a lot of shit because someone asked me who's a better scorer, him or Michael Jordan, and it's just factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan.
Based on the math.
Based on literally, like, you give James Harden the ball.
You're getting my reaction within 30 seconds of hearing this news. We officially got confirmation after waiting all day long to see whether this trade will finally get done. Adrian Wojnarowski is providing us all the details, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, James Harden has officially been traded for Ben Simmons. Before we get to the content, we are going to do a deep dive on this trade on the Laced Up Podcast YouTube channel featuring myself and Mike Korzemba, so make sure you go down there and subscribe right now. We're also giving away a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel $500, and we're doing the same giveaway on Instagram, giving away an Instagram follower $500 as well. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Super Bowl is around the corner and I'm in the mood to try to make some money, but I don't want to really break my bank doing it. So what better way to make some money than using my promo code TheFlightMike, claiming the free $5 credit from using my promo code, and then entering in a $4 contest to potentially win $1,440 in potential prizes. So we're entering this multi-sport Super Bowl 5-time pick'em. Between the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, I get the most points if the Cincinnati Bengals win, and they are the underdog, so I do think they could pull it off. I can't see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow losing, but I would be happy as a Rams fan if the Rams pulled it off. We got the Red Wings versus the Minnesota Wild. I'm gonna go with the Red Wings. Toronto versus Seattle. Let's go with Seattle. Chicago versus Winnipeg. Let's go with Chicago. San Jose versus Edmonton. I'm gonna go San Jose. The Pistons versus the Wizards. The Wizards stink recently, so I'm gonna go with the Pistons. The Kings versus the Nets. The Nets stink recently. I'm gonna go with the Kings. We got the Thunder versus the Knicks. The Knicks actually really stink recently, so I'll go with the Thunder. We got the Portland Trailblazers versus the Milwaukee Bucks. No way Milwaukee loses that. Toronto versus New Orleans. I think New Orleans could pull it off. They just got CJ McCollum. We got San Antonio versus Chicago. Let's go with Chicago. Denver versus Orlando. Let's go with Denver. Houston versus Utah. LA versus Golden State. So these are my picks, man. Now make sure you use my promo code FlightMike because you can enter this contest for free and make yourself some money by doing so. Or you can just click my link in the description down below. And thank you, Bounty Sports, for the sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Today has been a very strange day. It opened up with a rumor that James Harden, for lack of a better way of saying it, wants to be traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, but he is too afraid of admitting that he wants to be traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. My response to that tweet, for the most part, was it seems like he's been hanging out with Kevin Durant way too freaking much. Well, as time progressed on, we got word from Ben Simmons' camp that they were confident that a trade would eventually go down. And as time went on, we officially got confirmation, ladies and gentlemen, that according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Brooklyn Nets are trading James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. Wow! Because originally I thought, let's just jump into this, man. Overall, I was a huge fan of the Brooklyn Nets acquiring Ben Simmons to begin with, because it provides you multiple things that your team is missing. One, you get a new primary ball handler that can either run with your starters and fits in seamlessly with your starters, which are going to flank Ben Simmons with 2 additional scorers in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But in addition to that, if there is a chance that Kyrie Irving leaves, which I know he says he's not, but come on, man. He said he's not going to leave his team in the past and ended up leaving when he was on the Boston Celtics. Well, if anything happens and you need to blow it up, Ben Simmons is a young player, 25 years old, on a maximum contract that you could build around. I love what this does for the Brooklyn Nets defensively. They also get a nice shooter in Seth Curry and a center in Andre Drummond. They also get additional draft capital, which they lost when they had to trade for James Harden. So in that sense, I love this trade. But here's the thing that is absolutely shocking to me. Daryl Morey did this in by far one of the most poised ways I think I have ever seen. I mean, I was expecting that the moment that the Philadelphia 76ers were engaged with the Brooklyn Nets in a trade for James Harden, the moment that the Brooklyn Nets said, hey, we'll trade you James Harden, just give us Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, 2 first-round picks in Andre Drummond and Ben Simmons, and he's yours. I expected Daryl Morey to pounce on that trade immediately, but he seemed very poised, he seemed very disciplined, and he constructed one hell of a deal that retains the best assets that the 76ers have. Obviously, they lose Seth Curry, but you keep Tyrese Maxey, you keep your defensive stopper in Matisse Thybulle, you get rid of a player that wasn't even playing for your team to begin with in Ben Simmons, and you're able to reunite James Harden with Daryl Morey, put James Harden in a better situation to succeed, because I guess he wasn't really happy in Brooklyn because he didn't like the spacing in Brooklyn, and there's a bunch of other things that James Harden had issues with in the past with the Brooklyn Nets. But here's the one way that this trade could absolutely blow up in the Philadelphia 76ers face, and that's if James Harden ends up being extremely injury prone. Bear in mind, they are trading for a 32-year-old guard. If there is something that happens where he doesn't get along with Joel Embiid or anything of that nature and it doesn't work out, he still has the opportunity to opt out and sign elsewhere. I don't think he would, because there was a report earlier suggesting that he was feeling a little funny about switching teams for the second time in just as many years, but ultimately, I absolutely love this trade for both sides. This is the only opportunity that they had to make a significant trade, get additional depth, get a player that they could build around for the future, and get some additional assets, whereas the Philadelphia 76ers get their go-to player that can close out big games. James Harden will be the focal point of the offense. Joel Embiid is the best big man that he will ever get the opportunity to run with in the entire NBA in the midst of an MVP season. I love this trade. I think it's a home run for the Sixers. I give the Sixers an A++. I give the Brooklyn Nets a C. The reason why I give the Brooklyn Nets a C is because they should have at least received Tyrese Maxey or Matisse Thybulle in return. I feel like the Philadelphia 76ers knew that they had leverage in this instance, despite having a player that might not play for them for the rest of the year. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this insane trade. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.